Wow, it's been a week. Do you feel weird when we don't record for
Hmm.
just 7 days?
Like, why doesn't she love me? No, yeah, it is like a strong sense of a gap. That,
hmm
yeah,
It's like
what?
missing the gym for 7 days. That's how it
Yeah,
feels for me.
yeah, I've been missing. Yeah, I haven't gone to the gym in a long time. But even like your own sense of your body movement, like this like expression of energy.
Mhm.
And so when we don't meet, which is funny now because we still are meeting once a week, and then we moved it up to 2 times a week, and so we just missed like a 3 day period, right?
No, we missed the entire week
No,
because
we did.
last
Oh
one
shit.
I canceled and then you canceled.
Oh, okay, we did. Okay, yeah. See, it's funny. I'm confused.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
feels like the mind. I love the practice, so it feels like I don't have anywhere else to practice it this way, to muscle it
Mm-hmm.
and to confuse it in a good sense and laugh at it. So I miss the squeezing of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized how hard this book is to hold while read because read, I don't read properly. Yeah, I'm like on my knees, putting it here, going like this. Uh,
It's a
and then I
big book.
realized I have the book that he mentioned, which is the Tantra book, and I have not.
Mm-hmm.
Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. I was like, oh my God, I really wanted to read that book. And he did say, it's one of the most significant books in the world, which is why it's not publicized or socialized. And it's a tiny book. It's just not like giant. And I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
maybe we shall continue. I'm sure
Yeah.
he's going to point out many other books in this tome.
Essentially, we are reading this. He's the methods given. That's. I mean, I don't know. I haven't actually held the Bhairav Tantra to know if it's different or not. But he often refers to this book of secrets as the Tantra. He's so maybe it's just like a translated version, and he gives talks on it.
Mm.
Um, but again, I'm remembering now, like these are just his talks that were recorded.
Hmm.
So he's not referring as he's writing a book. He's referring as he's speaking about it. So
Mm.
so that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that he nuances these teachings and waves them somehow into the overall. He goes all over the place from Sartre to Goethe to I like that because he's so well read.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to him last week thoroughly. I mean, one day of overdose. It's a little weird because I do go extreme when I want. It's like I go
Mm-hmm.
all the way and until there's nothing else I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so interesting how well read is he. He cannot just pull this. I mean, in the end of the day, he says it's all the same knowledge to pull from or knowing, but he is very well read. Admirable, admirable.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Classic.
if I have a theory on that, which you kind of pointed to, which is like it's all the same knowledge.
Hmm.
Um, and I've heard of mystery schools that are taught in the astral.
Hmm. What do you mean? Say
And
more.
essentially, there's a from the Gnostic, Christian Gnostic tradition, there's a belief, and then I think there's other traditions that talk about this as well. There's a belief that you can astral project in sleep,
Mm,
and you have a separate body, and you can have rich experiences, and you can meet dead masters, and you can interact
mm,
with evil forces and good, evil and good, according to the Gnostic view of the world. But in that, they say like there are classes you can go to. There's like you can talk to masters one on one, you know. And it's a fantastical
Yeah.
world and it sounds very enticing. But it's like,
I like that.
yeah, and when I listen to Osho give a talk, he has this ability to recall information in such a way. I don't know if he had notes. I know he sometimes he'll have something that he's like looking at. I don't know if he has like quotes written down or anything. Like it's hard to know
Mm.
looking back at it. But I know from all the books I've read, I have a hard time recalling specific
Hmm.
quotes or what someone said or but he
Mm.
seems to be so on with it and I think part of that is in his version of his experience of enlightenment, he is so close to the source of truth and then
Mm.
he just knows who touches on it and he can kind of trace it back. Um,
Mm.
Either that or yes, he read a lot. Was a good student. But that's my theory anyway.
I and this is where I think something stays inside, and I think he also goes over that in this 14th part. When the directed energy comes in, I think the teachings, that's why I don't know how else to explain it other than something of a frequency can touch you deeply from someone who is authentically speaking through or speaking of a subject that is passing through or a teaching that is passing through, regardless of the person and the name and the title that that person has. Something can deeply touch you. So often when I read such things, I remember what touched me, what caused that experience that he's talking about. So lately, just an example, you know how Aurora touched you for a good time? Are you still listening,
Hmm.
by the way?
Not as much. The kids don't have tolerance for her
Okay.
anymore. But I'll put a song on and they'll
Yeah.
like change this song and I'm just like I'll dance a little bit and then I'll change it.
Yeah. But something, I think the readiness or the depth that you can enter into that silence when you're tuning into something is opening you up to be touched by that which you're experiencing through sound, through art, through, just
Hmm.
staring, looking. So last, for good last few days, I have been experiencing this space inside. I think it was since Neptune moved to Aries, and I'm just so, I like, I say it, I'm so disturbed by energies, but rather I'm activated or I don't know, there's a waves are coming in, right? So I don't know what to do with them. And I can feel that my sense is disturbed as if I am not steady, staying in my being or in my what I know or what I am. So
Hmm.
I'm like pacing, pacing. And to calm, often when this happens, to calm myself down, I go to art, go to music, go to something to concentrate the mind, which is picture. And then I read about it and I very much tune the concentration into it and it calms me down. But sometimes none of it works. So that's where I didn't have anywhere else to go. Then I went to poetry because poetry is very much, well, it's very hard to write, but it touches deeply, deeply everyone's understanding. And that silence that you experience and you cannot explain that he's saying that experience. So when poetry touches me, I feel connected to that, which is not only the author's, not only everyone else, not only mine, but everyone else's experience. And it calms down the nervous system a lot. So the experience of reading a poetry was very close to me. Um,
Hmm.
and that comes with seasons in life. So, it's not always Rumi that does it. It's not always David White that does it. It's not always Hafez that does it. It's like something invites something inside of me to come and meet on a very subtle, low, low, deep, deep level of silenced. It's not even total silence. It's less words or less noise, space where there is so much less noise.
Hmm. So this phenomenon that's happening with you, what's happening physiologically? You said like nervous system, and what else is occurring?
I think my mind is just confused on the states of the body is full of energy. So I'll give you the example. Last night, I woke up last night earlier, just a couple hours ago, I woke up at 2:30
Yeah.
and I was so inside my body and I couldn't sleep. And I was like, okay, I'll just go and I'll read. And then as
Mm-hmm.
I was reading, I was pacing because I couldn't sit down in one spot. I was disturbed by something. And I would get up, make a coffee, take a break, and then go on read something else and then come back to this. Like restlessness all over the place. New version of restlessness. And then I finished and I was like, I have 45 minutes. I'm gonna go and take a nap for 30 minutes. Eric, the this nap was so lucid,
Mm-hmm.
so vividly lucid. I knew I was napping for 30 minutes. The entire time I was conscious about what I was doing. And it was so active, but I experienced these waves inside of me. It was
Mm-hmm.
weird. And I don't remember the dream, but friends were there, you were there. It was just all over the place. I knew I had 30 minutes. I was waiting for an alarm. Everything was just, I was hyper aware. And plus, I
Mm-hmm.
was in some depth, right? So it's strange, but I am curious about it. And I think this more feels like a fall deeper into
Mm-hmm.
something that I don't know, like falling deeper, but subtly falling, which invites less silence. I mean, less noise. Noise disturbs me a lot. Like noise is very sensitive, has been
Mm-hmm.
sensitive. But poetry opened this door. It's cracked the door open. So now I'm like, wow. So now I signed up for his class. I might go even to a program up to Monterey in California for it. And I was like, huh, there's something here. And it's inviting me to enter into the subtleness, subtle feelings of less and less. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm. And this is you writing poetry.
Me reading poetry and
Mm-hmm.
me writing poetry.
Mm-hmm.
And the words that are coming out is just really different, right? So I was like, okay, well, let me see if I can project this for the entire year. I'll
Mm-hmm.
just do a project and see how far I can go. And I'm curious and what will change. And I've been writing differently. Now I'm writing essays rather than the short terms, right? Comes down to OSHO again. The yesterday you is dead. All you have is now. And if now is different, why would you want to live in yesterday? You must change. You are supposed to change. And I love when he talks about you're collecting the pictures of me from the past, but that me is dead. I am very different now. I'm not impressed by the past.
Mm-hmm.
Look at me now. This is who I am today. And today I speak this. And today I feel this.
Mm-hmm. And this touches on how he talked about love, I think,
Hmm.
and
Oh,
the ability to love in a way that is which is present and also recognizing the divine in another. And I'm like finding myself recentering when I got to that section, um, because it is so tempting to hold on to our past and what we said and what someone else said to us, um, because it feels like this time astrologically is already very, I don't even know how to describe it.
mm.
Up in the air, like we're just big shifts, big changes. And so
Mhm.
there's a temptation I'm noticing within myself to grab onto something. And I don't have much to grab onto except for relationships. That's one of the easiest things. So my kids and Carly and my friends. And part of that grabbing is there's a description and there's events, there's a history, it comes with like every relationship has a suitcase. If you imagine like all these artifacts that we carry with it, and there's joy in that for sure, but there's also in the attachment, there's a loss of the ability to love, to truly love the way he talks
Mm,
about love. And yeah, it's it's kind of it's like the temptation now, because where I'm at is like really let go of a lot of identity. Um, and there's a temptation now to I can feel this like ebb and flow over the line and then back through it. Over the line is like I'm free. Freedom is freedom is everywhere, and it's love, and I'm just present. It's just the day. And then there's these moments that tempt me with a cookie and say, "Do you want to come back
mhm,
over and experience hardship and
mm.
difficulty?" And yeah, it's,
Yeah,
it's interesting.
yeah, yeah.
That didn't really go anywhere, so I apologize for.
No, you make a point. Really, there's no life unless your heart is broken over and over again.
Mm,
And when you say I have to let go, what we're really trying to do is let go of ourselves
mm-hmm,
and that old part of us. Because you're not really, when you really think, you're not holding on to anybody. No, you actually have no right to hold on to anyone. By default, you give them freedom even if you disagree.
mm-hmm,
You're free to be. You are free to evolve, to become, to grow, to make choices. Inside of you, only you know what's happening. Inside of me, only I know what's happening. And I love that he beautifies the silence to extend when you truly are tapping these parts of you, you the silence you will become speechless.
mm-hmm.
The love then is no need to be explained or said. The love, the connection. You and I talked about this before. Can you love me without telling me that you love me?
Yeah.
Can that experience of love be without being needing to be explained? Can I have a connection? Can I experience a connection that ebbs and flows with you? And can I not tell you? Can I sit in silence with you? And then let me add to this again. I spoke about this a couple days ago. You know, when two people have the shared promise, the connection exists. Shared promise, same promise that it's shared together. And then this ebbs and flows is easy to do. And then it learns. So, because, the parts of you that you let go, people that you let go, people will lose necessary losses. The conversation and connection with them continues, even if they're not there.
Mm,
When we lose our parents, when we lose our grandparents, when friends leave, when your children leave, when they adult and go to their life, the conversation with them will continue. What happens is that it matures. So the longer you can talk to someone you didn't see for years, but your conversation will change. Your connection stays with it. Why do we say no to it? I don't talk to plants unconsciously, maybe, but I don't go to talk to the plant that I planted when I was little. I talk to friends that I had when I was little, younger, before. So those are the things that are hard to let go because the conversations continue and they're naturally maturing. Do we need them? I don't, I don't want not to have them, you know? So can I continue to stay in connection? Can I experience connecting to that which I no longer have. And what am I left with? Silence.
Hmm.
So when it's in front of you, it's easy to elaborate on it and try to control it because it's a living thing in front of you. Why not change it? Mold it to my needs. Because today I need this, tomorrow I need that. I'm gonna change. And I'm forgetting that you're changing too. So you might have your own needs, but you know, is the promise shared still there? Or do we have to find something else to share and look forward to connect thoughts?
There's a lot of resonance here. I just had a lesson with Luca yesterday. I just took him, just him and I, to the beach for an adventure, and he was talking about a friend. He's like, "They're not here. They promised." And I said, "Luca, we have to be careful with promises
Mm,
because we sometimes misinterpret intention as a promise, and it doesn't mean the same thing."
mm,
And to teach a child that, it was like interesting because when you teach, you're reflecting on what promises you keep and what promises you share and who you receive them from. And then the other piece too of, I think one of the three criteria for knowing how to love that Osho talks about
so,
is you forget yourself.
yeah.
There, you don't have this sense of who you are, what your needs are. And I'm like, well, that's fucked up because how many times I've gotten caught in that experience and thinking those, what is love then? What's left? And what I find is it's much closer to just an acceptance of what is. And in that acceptance, there is deep silence, deep, deep silence. You're disturbed in relationships to correct something or to meet somewhere or to create some experience. But when you're just present with the divine in you, then there's no need, as like what you talked about, there's no need to bridge the eye. I don't need to, I mean, that's all there is. It's like there's no need for it. It's just divinity. And it's, yeah. I don't know if this comes across in a podcast format as like being understandable. And I kept thinking throughout this chapter, chapter 14, when Osho's like, I have, it's impossible for me to not contradict myself with the many talks he's given. And I think about the contradictory nature of Tantra itself, of the approach. And it's true that you're left with a state of silence or like um it's tangible. Like you hear the term the tension, you could cut the tension with like butter. It's like this, or sorry, with a knife. Cut the tension with a knife. It's not like tension of like there's a fight brewing, but there's tension of something longs to be spoken and shared, but the experience itself cannot be put into words. And so any attempt is feeble. And in the attempt itself, as I've experienced so many times with Carly and with you and with anyone else that I'm sharing a deep experience, I'm feeling as I'm speaking through it that the experience is like self-diluting,
Mm,
and then there's an opportunity there to catch myself and just be silent.
mhm,
But I'll say with you, there's like more of a poetic approach that actually opens me up, and
mm,
I think that's part of the difference is poetry itself can invoke silence. It can invoke love. And these these sorts of works or like these transmissions can invoke something in us that we didn't know was there. We fill it with space and it opens up a doorway, and the contradictions, the confusion, like these are necessary elements to create something new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To realize what we didn't know, to welcome the unknown, and that door that you said it cracks. Something, the methods, I love that he comes back. No matter what method you're using, use them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just read them. Use them, try them, try them, try them, try them. Do them. Because one or the other will crack the door open. But without method, and I don't know the difference between Zen masters and his teachings until he pointed out, is that you're sitting for spontaneous awakening to occur. Sure, it might be the case, but most likely it will not. You have to do something. And with that doing, you're bringing your all that you leaked outside back into you, so you are equipped with this much energy to come in and put it underneath your skin and feel it and move this experience and be curious about your own experience of self. And that itself cannot be explained, it can only
Mm-hmm.
be felt. But that door that cracks open, how I understand it, is now you have two worlds. And the moment you realize that there are two, which means the one is split in two, and you just became aware that the two is present as well, you no longer can unseen it.
Yeah.
You cannot not see it anymore because you just experience something. And um, I don't know who says it. It's almost like you look up the sky and you see the arrow clearly. The arrow is not pointing at anybody, rather, it shows the direction, and you cannot unseen it anymore. It literally goes because now your one world actually became two, which is that paradoxical sphere of self that you're constantly moving, pushing, pulling, moving, pushing, trying to understand, or almost like giving up of understanding because the two are very experienced, not even consciously experienced. Here's the best part. Once that door is open and cracked, you cannot not go back. You are absolutely, of the existence of that part of yourself that no longer is dormant. It's very much awake. So now you have to do something about it, to invite it back and be curious about it. And that invites the faith for the unknown, the faith in self, to
Mm.
trust your own path. Because I can't trust you to trust me. Yeah, it helps, to know that I'm not crazy and I'm not alone in all this. That we hold
Mm-hmm.
hands somewhere there in a visible field of ocean, and you touch my hand, and I never see your hand, and yes, I feel that you're there. It's like I can come up with the concepts so I don't feel alone and lonely and solo on this journey, because you're also here. It sucks to be alone in the journey, and I don't want to be isolated, and all of these things that come as, I mean, do this, do that, do that. But when that's gone, the head, all is left is now the door is cracked. Grab a knob and open slowly. See what's behind it. Like, if I'm looking at you, and here's where I'm getting excited. I'm looking into your eyes, but do I really see just your eyes and your eye color, or can I see behind the world that you're hiding? Show me. And another thing, I was talking about this yesterday. I was at the dinner with a bunch of people. And then I said to my friend, often people that are the silent at the table are the deepest people that experience life deeply, meaning that the life itself is really hard and painful when you really think about it. And most of pain is unconscious because we suppressed it. But when you have someone who is silenced and nobody else is curious about the silence within, that person get curious about what's behind their eyes. What is that they're experiencing deeply? And can you meet them there? And only the one that can go to some sort of level can actually realize that they are having a whole world underneath that they are not talking about.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel this ties in really well with how he mentioned sensitivity,
Hmm.
and the growing sensitivity comes with, it's like, oh, you open the door for bliss within yourself, but then you experience the hell and the pain that others feel and carry with them.
Yeah. Oh,
And
so good.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting.
Oh,
I've yeah, without claiming to say like I figured it out, or that's not what I'm trying to say here, but I've noticed more and more attention is now going to, people that are hitchhiking, or I was with the boys at the store and we grabbed some food and went outside, and there was a homeless guy with his dog. And I had the thought about sharing some of my food, and then I was like, I got to take care of my family. And then I just carried on, but it keeps coming up. And then
mm.
I've been having the feeling before that of, I want to give someone who's hitchhiking a ride, but I don't want to pick anyone up that I don't know. Just just seems like a good idea. And when you're on an island, you begin to know and recognize a number of people. So I've been asking for an opportunity because I've seen so many people that need a ride, and I'm like, I want to see someone that I know so I can give them a ride. And then it happened the other day, and I got to give someone a ride, and I'm noticing like in that short time, this person shared a lot with me, and it was like kind of a dumping, but with being Pisces, I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like, okay, you shut that door for the suffering of the world because it's painful and you're not sure if you can hold it all, and it distracts you from what's important in your life. And there's also like, you have this fear that it will pull you away from your own sense of bliss. And the reality is, as he touched on, you deepen into the experience of life itself. You deepen into the pain, and on the other side, much like in Tantra, in your work with alchemizing the pain of the body or the sensations or the emotions, you have to go deep to broaden it out, to explode it out, to center it in. So yeah, it's interesting because the temptation of spirituality is love. It's going to be love and light, and it's all going to be bliss and ascension. And once I'm in bliss, I'll remain there forever, and nothing will touch me, and people will just be transformed from my experience and the vibration that I hold. And the reality is, some of that is true, but a lot of it is, you actually polarize and you attract different experiences, because ultimately what it feels like we're here to do energetically is to broaden the sense of experience. Like, yeah.
Perfect. You said to broaden the
Hmm.
sense of the actual experience that it's occurring in the moment of.
Hmm.
That's exactly where that door, the moment you realize and it clicks, something inside of you clicks and you become shocked that you just realize that something is occurring inside of you. It's a moment, split second. Can you get curious to broaden that experience? That's what invites you to experience the moment as it occurs. And those are the meditations. So Vipassana is very much that. So yeah, Ram Dass talks about the same thing. Sure, I'm gonna sit here and just cycle the breath. He goes, cycle the breath here, up and inhale, exhale. And my mind is gonna take off, and then I'm gonna come back again. My mind is gonna take off. It's gonna give me challenger. it's just going to challenge me more and more and say, well, you know, you have a PhD. What are you doing here cycling the bread up and down for 20 minutes? Like, that's dumb. That's stupid. Do something about it. But you are actually, what that does, he goes, it's teaching you how to be aware and experience awareness of what is occurring. And that you're staying in that gap to broaden the gap of awareness. I love how you said that. That's where the poetry. This is where the art, to me, this is where the art opens up and cracks up a well, a well of abundant ideas,
Mm-hmm.
abundant possibilities. Where if you're gifted to try to elaborate, you know, the ordinary man, the poet, the artist, and then the absolute love, right? So poet dies trying to
Mm-hmm.
touches the love and dies trying to translate it to the ordinary man. You're almost kind of in between these two worlds you're tapping into, and but that little mini broadening, can you stay longer, and can you write, can you explain, can you try to be or feel more longer, as if you are stretching, slowing down this time
Mm-hmm.
line into slow motion, and then you can come back to time lapse and remember the experience of this like stretched line before you touch the door. Because when you read the poetry, I'm gonna go back to the poetry. I'm obsessed. When you read the poetry, you read it very slowly for the same exact reason. And when I read someone else's poetry, I'm experiencing myself reading the words that are coming out of the well. And there, as an artist, you're not concerned will someone steal your idea or not, because there's plenty right there in that little mini gap. That's all it is. So when we try to say in spirituality or enlightenment, I'm going to go and get this bliss, it feels like a big, vast ocean that I'll never experience, rather than just a little drop on it. Can
Mm-hmm.
you stay in a drop, in a drop? Can you experience the drop and grab it? Can you grab that and play with that rather than grabbing onto past self that you can't
Mm-hmm.
let go, rather than, oh, right now I'm feeling it. And right now I'm so excited about it. Let me see where it
Mm-hmm.
will take me. Be curious. And that to me invites so much tuning in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's delicate too. Even the when you say the word grabbing or grasping, I'm like,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's like
metaphoric.
it's very delicate. Um,
Yeah,
do you,
the moment you think you will is the moment it disappears from you.
mm-hmm.
So, can you grow capacity to not think of it rather than just experience? See, it's a
Mm-hmm.
well.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
So
I appreciate so much the beauty, the depth, and the acceptance that is the ocean. And I have been there more than I've ever, like lately in the past couple weeks. Been there a lot. And yesterday in swimming, I dove down a little bit and got to hear whale song. And I was
wow.
obsessed, and I kept going back down because I just wanted to listen. And
Wow.
it's like in I feel like the ocean is like the most
Mm.
settled part of nature, and it's the closest experience in this 3D reality we have to um, this state that you touched, which is like the doorway opens. Um, and if I think about these massive creatures that are singing, and I'm like, they're so large, and they're just suspended, and they are, for the most part, the sperm whales, they're benevolent creatures of the ocean, and they're like, what is the purpose of whale song? What is like the purpose of floating in space? They're not thinking, like, they don't have this human temptation. I guess I'm making huge assumptions about what whales think and don't think.
But it's your experience.
See,
So you're, but it's
this
your
is the
experience.
mind. Yeah. Yeah. It's my experience.
But I
Um,
want to know, how did you feel when you went down, pressed by the heaviness of the water, the pressure in
mhm.
your tiny body, and then you heard this sound from who knows how far that
Yeah.
echoes through the water, which is so wild too.
Mhm. In the moment, I just felt joy and I was just like smiling ear to ear. And then I wanted to share with everybody.
Yeah.
So I told people about it. And then Luca got to dive down. He was actually the one who said, I hear the whales. And I was like, nah. And then I dove down, clear as day. Um, so it was just a cool moment. But
Did you feel the buzzing through the body?
I think
Were you
they're probably
afraid?
2 or 3 miles away and I wasn't afraid. And we weren't swimming out. So we were close to the beach. So I could
Mm.
just stand up, you know, and not worry about exploding. And it wasn't terribly loud.
Mm.
Um, it sounded like maybe a mom and a baby, and then maybe one other whale, maybe a dad or something, just kind of like singing back and forth. And
Talking.
it was just beautiful. Yeah.
Were you surprised?
Yeah, I was surprised. Carly's the one that she'll swim out with dolphins, and she's like, "Oh, I would love to swim with whales one day." And she's tried a number of times, but they're elusive. And I mean, they in a second they can dive down far deeper than any human can go. So it's just one swipe of the tail and then gone.
They can also knock you out, but they can't. They won't.
Yeah,
They're
well, I mean,
benevolent creatures.
yeah,
Did
yeah.
you see this crazy little human body with the little legs trying to swim with them, which is weird.
Probably feels like a bird to us,
Mm.
proportionally, maybe even smaller than a bird, like a dragonfly.
Yeah. It's so interesting how some creatures are just very welcoming and some are predatory, you know, even on humans. So you go in savannah or Sahara or whatever in the desert out there and get in front of the bear or whatever, the lion,
Mm-hmm.
the hyena. They'll eat you alive, even piranha. They will
Mm-hmm.
chew you up.
Yeah, that's interesting. There's from living here for a short while and hanging around the more uh esoteric crowd, like because we have the option to be more in Hilo, which is like city life, traditional, very structured way of living, even like the parenting styles, very similar to mainland. And then we're down more in like Seaview area, Kahena, Black Sand Beach. Non-traditional, very open to new ideas. Nudity is welcome, like, and in that world, there's a deeper understanding about the ocean, and sharks are not what movies and TV and society has made them out to be, really. Um, they're they're also very calm, spiritual, very deep beings, and the difference is we meet them where they are at, and then instead of like, and you have an interaction when you're on a boat or you're on a surfboard, it's kind of like it looks like someone said to me yesterday who he was scuba diving. He's like, well, when you're on a surfboard, they misinterpret it like you're a seal, so you look like prey.
Mm.
Um, it's not like that they're hunting humans. And when you go into the reef where there's a million fish, they have all the food they could ever want. They're largely just curious. They're just kind of curious. And there's some species of shark that are more aggressive in their curiosity. and they'll test you. And if you start to swim away, it's like, oh, game's on, you know. It's like predatory instinct, like you said. And I imagine that same phenomena would translate to like the South African subcontinent where you have lions and tigers and um like there's tribes of people that live amongst these predatory creatures. There's tribes of people, I mean, in Russia where there's huge bears, in Mongolia where there's all these all these predators and people find a way. So all that to say, going back to this experience of life and the depth and the richness of people's pain and their hell, and
Mm.
um trying to think of the exact instance, but I've learned it over and over again. Like you can't approach like the jungle. You can't approach. Don't go in the ocean if you're not in a state of calm yourself, because you will naturally attract. Since we are electromagnetic beings, you're gonna attract like, oh, there's a disturbance in this field. There's a being nearby who is feeling immense fear or is feeling um,
Mm.
anger. And I think of an instance when Carly and I had gotten in a fight. We were in Malaysia and we were walking to we're walking across this little island to go scuba diving, and there's this bridge you have to cross to get around like these cliffs. And usually there's monkeys that kind of hang around. And I remember just being so heated and I had like an ear infection. So I was like all inflamed and just agitated. And there was three monkeys in front of us. I don't know what species. And I remember seeing them and being like, they'll move out of the way. They always move out of the way. I shit you not. They saw me and then they started like kind of running towards me. And Carly was behind me. And I just had a water bottle. And I was like, holy shit. Like I'm getting attacked. And they were very, very aggressive. And I had to like throw the water bottle to get them to distract them. And they kind of chased it a little bit. And then they still wouldn't let me pass until some people came up and then they went in front of me. And then they kind of cleared out of the way. And it was like a really deep lesson for me in that moment of your vibration, like your energy is so much more than what we think. Yeah. Sorry about this huge nature tangent.
No, it's beautiful. So you're speaking of the nature and the environment around you that it also shapes the one in it.
Mm.
So the question is, when it comes to your awareness that your frequency is a little off, how did he say? Did I dream about this?
It's still valid if so.
Somewhere here he goes on how to come back. I can't find it, but when it comes to the awareness and when you realize that you identify with whatever agenda that the mind took you on that changed the frequency, because it's almost like the whole shift happens here, and then
Hmm.
automatic most of the shifts happen here, and then body automatically reacts to what the mind preference is in the moment. So your whole body alchemically changes into a different frequency because the mind operates as a center. And we identify with that, what mind thinks, says, wants, so much so that we're not aware that is running our life or is running our everything. But there is a moment when that awareness comes in, and then you almost separate from the mind as if, oh, that's the mind and this is me. And in
Mm-hmm.
that right moment is the how that matters the most. Now, what you do, right? It's like you can be aware and then you can just be stuck there, right? Okay, well, and now what do I do with this?
Mm-hmm.
This whole shift, this is why I think his methods or any method, and in all honesty, and I will say, knowing a lot of methods is very helpful. But if I only know them and I don't try them, I will forget them. And then I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
sit there, try to figure out where did I read what, restless. So I will have to practice them. So when I went to bed, because my mind was getting tired from reading and being all over the place before I went to bed for 30 minutes. I was like, okay, let me come back into the body. And I keep inviting myself back into the body with this whole like collecting of myself from what just occurred, coming back into the body and see if I can feel the body falling asleep.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was like, oh, be only in that moment, I was like, okay, I can try many different things. And it took me a short period until I already was gone, right? Dreaming. But I came to awareness that my mind took over my energy. It's operating, and I'm so tired and exhausted because there's so much pulling up my head. I had to go and reset. Excuse me, hold on. But it's so good to have the basket full of options that you actually know how to practice and do you actually know how they work. So writing, emptying works. It does work, and you can change it. Reading out loud works. And directing your mind to contemplate, writing the question, answering it out loud helps. Like these are, you know how Lee Harris has, like, I don't, no meditation works for me, but I find my way through it. It doesn't matter what you use. What matters is that you do something with that gap, with that moment, and learn how your process of detaching, coming back into the center, how is that actually done for you? As if you're studying yourself over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for me, at least recently, I've found that movement, moving my body, and typically with a rhythm, and typically with music, is so helpful because I often create whatever organization I think is important here, and then I realize but the body itself is disorganized, and so this
Mm.
organization it's like it reestablishes a connection, and also like for help, it helps with just not feeling tired and not feeling like, oh, I'm in pain, or I'm sore, or I'm tired, or I'm bored, or I'm lonely, or I'm hungry. It's like just move, and then it all goes away for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah. And
But
do you feel tired? Do you like experience tiredness? Not the body, natural biological tiredness when you have to rest, but you know, when you're like yawning. Do you yawn because you're tired? Good
is,
question.
is this a trick question?
No. You know how Carly said, do you eat because you're emotionally eating or are you eating because you're biologically hungry?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Do you yawn because your mind took all the energy out of you, sucked you dry, and now you have no vitality inside of you? Or because I don't yawn, I am
Do
well
you,
rested. Hmm.
mm-hmm.
I
Can
don't yawn
you,
unless,
sorry.
I have to put the point across. I don't yawn unless I'm really tired and ready for bed. So last night I stayed late, rare, okay, late on a dinner for 5 hours. Talking. And then we ended up in conspiracy theories, which is even further above on the surface. You're literally almost like just the first fine layer of the surface talk. And it was such a vortex that we entered into the vortex of it. And you're literally exchanging the first line of your primal, not even primal, like primal is deep, but on your recently developed layer of the brain. And it's so surface based that it tired my life out
You
because I
felt tired
was,
after?
oh my God, it took me 15 minutes to drive home. I was yawning entire time. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, I forgot how it feels to yawn. I was pooped. I was
Yeah.
sucked dry trying to exchange Epstein files. And it's like too much. It was too much noise.
Yeah.
But I don't yawn. I 9.9 out of 10. I do not yawn because I'm experiencing energy in my, I'm eliminating the mind most, well, sorry, I'm not pro in it, but I want to correct myself, right? So I want to experience the energy flow inside my body rather than actually engaging on the mind. Even this, to me, I speak out of the experience. I want to experience this conversation and exchange. I'm
Mm-hmm.
utilizing the tool and the gift that I have of communication and language and a tongue, simply
Mm-hmm.
making some weird sounds. Who cares what I say? But
Right.
it's refreshing. It's opening. I'm never
Mm-hmm.
tired when we talk. Never, ever.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, which rarely happens, unless we talk about something so not interesting.
Yeah.
Like absent files, if we were to touch base, like I can't. I would like I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to exchange on that at all.
It helps me with a lot of that stuff. My base layer of it, like filtering anything that comes in is it's all theater.
Mm.
It's all distraction from something far more important. And then it's like I can engage in it knowing it's theater and but it's just like it means so much less at that point. And
Yeah.
it's hard for it's hard for people to not try to find meaning in the external because it seems so disturbing. Um, but to be disturbed, like you said, I think this is your quote, to be disturbed is a gift.
Hmm.
A couple things too. Lately, Carla and I have been very, very reflective over your statement. I think you said this at least a year ago. It was like one of our earlier Gene Keys talks. Um, you had said, pay attention to how you feel after you spend time with someone. If you feel
Hmm.
tired or do you feel energized?
Oh.
And we've been like pulling that in because it's for whatever reason it's becoming very clear now. Like we need to be quite careful with who we're energetically exchanging with.
Hmm.
So it's been a useful tool. And then the other thing was, oh, yawning. The two instances where like yawning becomes very clear to me. One was when I used to go to the gym and weightlift. I would find myself yawning like excessively. And I remember in high school, I think part of it's because of like sleep deprivation. So I'm pushing my body and I'm sleep deprived, and then my body's trying to like ac accommodate for that stress or whatever. And the other is when this doesn't happen every time, but when I take psychedelics, like typically you have some level of purging of like stuck energy, and it could be yawning, it could be like the need to stretch or to move, it could be puking, crying,
Yeah, I
drooling,
totally get it.
whatever. Yeah.
I heard that. If I yawn, I'm just relaxed in my body. But the difference is that I can sense when you're yawning because your body is trying to get relaxed versus when you're totally disconnected from our connection. That's the difference. It's like you can't lie the feeling. And I'm never going to tell you, but I'm noticing the difference. If when you're tuned into someone and when you're not, you feel the difference?
You just reminded me the other time when I yawn was through school, like all constantly. Like during a lecture, I'm like, oh my gosh, can't handle it.
But and can I just say something? It comes down to his previous teachings. It's like when you depersonify, or when you look at the person and you demote it into the object.
Hmm.
Was it him?
Right.
Did I read this somewhere else? Yeah, it was him. So when I look at you and I'm trying to love you into the center, I'm connecting to that which is very human. Can you hear me? You
I
having
can,
trouble?
yeah. No, we're good.
But if I look at you and I try to change you, I demote you into an object that now I want to possess, and that's where the lust and everything else comes in. So instantaneously connection is broken. So do you look at me as something you want to change? Or are you looking at me as something naturally that you by default accept? I think that's the click. That's literally the click. If you're, because my mom did this the other day. Ooh, it bothered me so much. This woman corrects my grammar mistakes. Mind you, I think on two languages, right? I
So she
self-taught,
corrects your Serbian?
yes, which I
Oh.
I don't use. I only use
Mm-hmm.
it with her and whomever. Rarely do I, with my family, rarely. But and I went to school to teach. I'm a teacher who teaches children how to speak Serbian language. Imagine. So I
Oh, really?
have, yeah, did you not know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I have my degrees in teaching, primary, secondary school.
Wow. That's
Wow.
shocking. It's very shocking.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I specialized in autistic children and special needs. Well, actually, I practiced in a special needs school, mainly for autism, and then my fine degree, what is it called? The fine work, the final work was in the importance of fitness in children,
Mm.
the
Wow.
aerobic
It's a,
fitness for children, child development.
it's a
Yeah.
rabbit hole there. Yeah, I like that. One of my good
Wow.
friends was a special education teacher. She was awesome.
Yeah. Oh,
Brief
the
friendship,
biggest
but
love.
yeah.
The biggest love from a child I experienced when they hugged me. There's one, I still remember her. Oh, beautiful, big, deep eyes, deep, dark, open.
Mm-hmm.
And she loved so much that she would crush you with her
Mm-hmm.
arms. That
Mm-hmm.
love of no boundaries, no control of how big and strong it can get. That they will hug you and squeeze you. They have no limits to it. And I loved
Mm-hmm.
that. It was beautiful.
Mm.
Anyway, um, what was I saying? Forgot. Oh, my mom corrected me. And I was like, all this talk. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm getting bothered actively. I'm getting so disturbed inside that I want to attack back and pay back. And this is all internal process. I'm looking at her and then I invite Osha and I said, look at her, look through her in the center and see if you can love that, which you just demoted into uh enemy. Who are you to tell me I did this wrong? Because one word of the entire essay. The essay was gone. It was zoomed in into one grammarly mistaken word, which I get often, especially if I'm trying to translate native language to English. It doesn't come out proper English, nor it
Mm-hmm.
comes vice versa. So it's like, but you get the gist. Do you have to zoom in and try to change and go back to what I said wrongly? You actually missed the entire point. And
Yeah.
I just wasted the entire time trying to tell you something so much bigger of importance than this one silly little word. It's like, are you serious?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you just demoted me into the person, which means the connection was broken. So technically, what I'm grieving is the
Yes.
loss of connection, loss of my ability to be vulnerably naked in front of you on that deeper level.
Mm-hmm.
And I want it
Yeah.
so bad. Now I'm in loss
Mm.
because it's gone.
So you find yourself in silence regardless, but it has a different quality to it.
With someone else or with self?
So like your mom is criticizing your grammar and then you're disturbed.
Hmm.
Do you go into silence then, or do you just try to like not saying silence like you stop talking, but more like I'm not sure if you're picking up what I'm putting down here, but almost like
shut down.
Yeah. And is it a shell or is it a centering?
It's a shell. It's
Mm,
immediate shell.
yeah, which is tough because
Yeah,
it's those that we're closest to that find a
hurt you the
way in.
yes.
Yeah.
That's why who you welcome, who you love, the ability to love that which has equal potential to hurt you.
Mm,
Yeah, you love because you're gonna get hurt. Actually, so you can learn from it and not thicken your love or yourself to love rather than be more selective. Aware do you open even more? Because the more you open, the more you're exposed to such pains.
mm. Yeah, I was just reflecting on this 2 days ago, how I grew up in this environment around the women in my family, how
Mm,
it's just a lot of
mm,
nitpicky, and then like you said, like your whole essence is immediately lost.
mm,
And it's like, do I fight to get back the essence? It's already gone. It's gone immediately. And I'm actually, maybe this is like the Piscean experience of childhood as we learn to it brings me back. It's like, okay, the shell is a part of it, but there's space in the shell to find like your own center, your own, like you said, it's like you have the longing of the connection that was lost. And in that longing, you're actually experiencing my understanding now is that longing is such a beautiful state to be in. It's a
yeah.
beautiful, yeah, it's painful, but it's beautiful. And and now I appreciate Carly so much because she has no care for grammar and no care for the correct word to say um and I've learned how to just because the temptation is to do what was taught to me and to pick and pull apart and correct and it's like I want you to be on the right path and say the right thing and use the right word and it's like but I'm missing her essence. I'm missing
Yes.
what she's transmitting and I noticed it mostly when she would tell stories. People were like engrossed in her story, not bothered by her word choice. And I'm sitting there thinking that's not the right word, or why did she say that that way, or like that doesn't make sense. They probably don't know what she's talking about. Meanwhile, they're just like engrossed in her, and I'm like, okay, what's the
Yeah.
gap for me? I'm getting stuck in the same trap in the same loop. I'm just on the other side of it now. I'm severing the connection because I have an idea of how it's supposed to be. And then we can expand that out to everything in life and
Mm-hmm.
say conspiracy theories. I think I know the way it's supposed to be. Therefore, that connection to is this not the root of a lot of the pain now? Is this
Mm,
belief that we're not being supported and held? This belief that we don't have an all seeing God or mother or experiencer or the watcher who is pervading over all of this. And yeah.
but you see, I'll add to that. I love that. I'll add to that. And then you're left with that, which you are actively experiencing in a moment, and you have no one to share it with. When when you get to a point when you realize all of you, nobody gets to know. That's so heartbreaking. But and then you're left with silence. And then your silence becomes a friend. And then you're literally sitting in it. And silence in a sense of I don't have to stand out loud for something when it comes to conspiracy theories, rather than there's a silent evolution. that becomes a revolution, that it's never loud. So I always had this feeling no matter what is loud in the world, there's equal power sitting in silence inside of us deeply. So it's enough. For me, it's enough that I am sensitive to myself, that I am noticing fragility in me, that I'm welcoming it, that I am learning about it, that I'm patient with it. You see? And I do all of this inside of me. There's a huge inner world that is known only to you, and only you get to decide what you want to do with that. Then the more silent it becomes, the more powerful its experiences.
Mm. And like Osho says, in referring to the Tantra, only in the deepest centering can the explosion happen.
Hmm.
And it and there's a temptation in this experience of the senses, the five senses, six senses, that we have all that there is, and that we must throw ourselves at it to have the fullest life. That goes back to the fear of death. But when we accept the silence and this severance of connection as a little death, when we accept that peace as natural, when we accept it as the experience itself, when we stay in that silence, then the centering occurs and then the explosion can happen, the explosion outward. And like you said, what you're alluding to is this inner world. Like we think 100% is out here, and it's really 1% or a fraction of a percent, because this explosion outward is far beyond our imagination even.
Mm.
And yet we capture the world with our senses and define it and say these are the edges, and is this is what is known. Everything else I deny because I'm afraid of it. And so it's there is a lot here in this chapter. He, like you said in the
Yeah.
beginning, he jumps around, but it all ties in together, and it really feels like the essence of this transmission is about this dichotomy of fear and love and how you hold both.
Yeah. Imagine, imagine the moment you realize you're about to die. Imagine the moment you realize you're about to fall in love. You can't imagine, but the moment will sure occur. It will happen. Just that makes me want to cry equally for both experiences. Because you never
Mm.
plan, you can't plan the ending nor the beginning in love, nor the ending in that, the end of anything. You can't plan, but it sure occurs.
Mm.
And when it does, you lose everything. In that bright moment, you rapture, the flower opens and blooms.
Mm.
You no longer are. But watch. He didn't talk about death in this one, but it reminded me of the same exact thing. Wow, none of us know, actually, consciously, how death will occur. None of us know what the experience of being on the deathbed actually means, feels. None of us. But we sure will experience it. And now the question is, do you experience you can't even prepare for it. You can't. Yeah.
This feels like preparation to me.
I'll sidetrack for a second to shake up the energy. I was reading Neptune, and in the book of Neptune, my Neptune is in Capricorn and is in the eighth house of death and rebirths all the time. So I'm going to apparently per book experience the death and endings And I'm gonna be faced with that over and over again. And really, the death is not just the end of life. The death is end of anything. The
Hmm.
death will be the end of friendship, the end of living in the space, the end of. I just got the bookshelf, and I thought yesterday, I was like, wow, I finally have my favorite bookshelf. Oh, I know this too will end. For sure, it
Hmm.
will be here. So let me enjoy it while it's here. Let me stare at it. That's why I sat and stared at it for an hour. I was like, wow, I love every single part of you, every single color I want to touch. Because maybe, the earthquake can happen, and then what did I do with it? It's gone. But I will be faced with the endings, the death of it.
I
But
just see asking and is given, and I was like, oh, I think that's the book
what the
that
what?
you were reading when I met you, but
Oh
it
yeah,
wasn't.
this.
Yeah, I don't think it was that actually.
Yeah, I have so
It
many
was
of them.
Abraham Hicks, but it
Yeah,
didn't
it was
remind
that
me.
one. Yeah, it was that one. The other one is Money, the Law of Attraction, which I got and never read. Who cares? That
Yeah.
these books, I have two books on money and how to attract it and manifest it through tantra, sexual expressions, and I'm like, they do not belong here. I literally
Yeah.
am like, they don't belong.
Hmm.
But what I was trying to
Yeah,
explain,
the death. Yeah, sorry.
the death and the love, the falling in love and the experience of it when it occurs. Imagine how rich it is when you may wanna. So how rich it is that you get so lost in experience that you no longer are. Same with love, same with death. That you can only write after about it. I wish we can have an invisible hand after our death to write over all the experience of dying. So some hand of ours can put in on the paper what that felt like. Because you write about love that occurred and that died. We artfully explain the process of starting and ending of the cycle. But to
Hmm.
me, the death and love is the same. Looking from this perspective on breaking it in three, and that's why I want to read them. What are the symptoms of being in love? Symptoms, as if
Hmm.
it's,
Sickness,
yeah, I love it.
the psychosis.
It's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Three things. First, absolute contentment. Nothing else is needed. Not even God is needed. So good. Two, no future. This very moment of love is eternity. No next moment, no future, no tomorrow. Love is happening in the present. It is so true. And three, you cease to be. You are no more. And if you still are, then you're not in love. You cease to be. You have no idea where you are, what you do. You have no idea. You're laughing, you're smiling, you're in total bliss. Doesn't matter. You're not hungry. You're suddenly you're. It's like to me, it's like a mushroom experience. I don't know what day it is. Do I have to work to? All of it is gone. You're absolutely presently in a moment, and you can just stay there and marinate. There's this like
Hmm.
massage that happens around the heart that expands and wants to go more. And there's this, so you're rich with overall experience in the moment. But he explains it only and only because you are fully gone from being here, rather than you're
Hmm.
in this experience. So you're empty enough, and it's a meditative state. Loving is meditative. I love that he put the two together because it's the easiest way to be gone. So you can
Hmm.
be empty in total silence and experience boop, a moment. Oh, should be a recipe for the rest of a life. Minimum 25 times. Fall in love, fall in love, fall in love. And don't be afraid to get hurt.
Hmm.
Fall in love with everything you touch. Can you fall in love with people? with books, with teachings, with music, with song, with colors, with sounds.
Hmm.
That's too advanced too, but yeah.
What's too advanced?
Well, to love everything, including your neighbor who you mind and your enemy, right? So it's like, can you fall in love? And in one of the lists that I was listening to him, he talks about Rumi a lot, actually, Sufis, and he touches that way of loving beyond the ordinary love because they're learned how to love absolutely in an
Hmm.
absolute sense of love, but that you learn how to exit the one that you love and expand further from it. And he
Hmm.
goes, because you now, and then he explains how when they write a poetry, it is it is so profoundly touching to the heart because it's the frequency of love and worship of the divine feminine that never touched them, something much larger than the human being. And when ordinary man reads the same poetry and wants to replicate it, no one buys his books because it's the worship of a woman rather than the worship of a divine. So people connect to that, which is so much absolute and bigger than the limited love. The words and frequencies of the same words, when directed towards something bigger versus something limited, that you want to possess versus where you totally surrender, it's a different frequency you experience.
Hmm. Yeah.
Ah, topic
Hmm.
of love.
Yeah. If, when I think about the three symptoms and I imagine someone in that state, it sounds like it sounds like a guru, right? Or like a monk or someone who's just untouched by all of your worries and your concerns and totally free. And it sounds beautiful. And then there's also like this mislabeling that happens around, I think, the ascension symptoms, you could call them. It's not sitting well with me, but that's what I'm going to use. Um, of like, oh, it's spiritual psychosis or detachment from reality, or like, um, even someone was telling me yesterday, they're like, yeah, my, uh, they're like, yeah, I've been living here for 5 years, and her dad still calls her and says, you need to come back to reality and stop dreaming out there in paradise. Like it's not real. Like people just don't think, and this is referring to Hawaii, they don't think it's real. They don't think like you
Mm,
can
mm,
just be in paradise, that you like you need a job, you need what I had, you need the structure, you need city,
yeah.
you need yeah. Um and I just came across an article this morning. I was reading a little bit. Um Someone was talking about cannabis use, and for some reason it's coming up more and more, psychedelics like DMT and ayahuasca mushrooms, and there's like this shift happening where they're putting together, okay, psychosis symptoms and use of psychedelics, and then especially with overuse of cannabis,
Mm,
people check themselves into mental hospitals. But it's like these are symptoms of an awakening, and if it's not in the proper setting, or if there isn't some level of guidance around touching the unknown,
mm-hmm.
right, then it feels like it needs to be corrected. It needs to be brought back into
Yeah.
structure and some semblance of this reality that we're experiencing. But really, more and more, I'm tempted to say this maybe because of my Aries rising, but more and more as we journey through these works, I find myself losing my mind.
Yes. That was the intention.
Hmm.
And how does it feel?
Freeing, very freeing.
Yeah.
We'll see, because I mean, I definitely want more. So, some spectrum.
Yeah. And you become more comfortable with it, you know.
Hmm.
You almost like teach the mind how to cozy up a little bit and loosen up more so you can
Hmm.
take on a larger space or more of your own experiential territory. A different one, you know, when you're like, yeah, like a child experiencing the nature. It will go that far and then it will come back again. It will go a little further next time. It will come back again to the house, right? So I think the mind can do this for us, but we have to show it the way, and we show it by trying and
Hmm.
threading slowly. And there's no rush. We're not rushing anywhere. I looked at the book and I was like, wow, it will take us 5 years to finish. Great. Because that's a perfect time to not rush the process rather than allow it to occur and to change us.
Yeah. It's only gonna be 1 year. I just I just did what your mom does.
Okay,
It's only gonna be
sure.
1 year. No,
But you
yeah,
know,
I
I'm good in
even
not correcting you. I'm like,
yeah.
okay, fine.
I even look at this book and I'm like, how are we on 230 already? Like
Right. Same.
it's yeah, there's an urge to inch. And he used the word inch today and I was like, "Oh, Melissa."
He did.
Yeah, there's just one sentence where he said inch and I of
Itch
course
for an inch.
he didn't say itch for an inch, he just said inch.
Wow.
I doubt I could find it because it's just one time, but
I'm proud of us, sir. I'm telling you.
what are you proud of? Fill me with compliments, please.
Of openness, willingness, um, good intention, space and time. Thank God we have time, you know, because thank God we have time. Thank God. Thank us for finding time, for
Hmm.
being willing and being curious to keep coming back to it and find a different ways because if we're giving up of it. Right. So it's like, I really think that's the shared purpose. Because you see, the shared purpose, a promise, shared purpose, shared promise is we promised we will end. We promised not to have agenda with it. And we promised when it's time, when the time comes for it to end, it will end with grace and we will suffer through it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because it becomes a part of life, right? So it becomes part of you that you can't help but not to crave more because it's that good, it's that open, and it's that expanding. So there's everything to crave. And the more we do it, the bigger the crave it will be. But there sure will be the time when this too will end.
Yeah.
I'm like, stop talking about the death and ending.
No, I mean, I welcome it and I love that you bring it back there because it helps me in a way. And then recognizing, your Neptune in eighth house, it's going to be a recurring theme. I'm even as you're sharing, I'm like, well, what does this mean for me? um, and it's just a reminder that everything always changes, and the worst, the worst thing we can do for ourselves is hold on to some idea of what it was supposed to be.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And reevaluate the promise, the shared promise. And again, it's just an option. But I want to just add my port of fortune is right next to that Neptune, which means my luck is there. What an irony. It's like my luck sits right next to the ending and loss and grief and death. Wow. That
That's
is
totally 55. Yeah, just like welcoming continuously the evolution of into the unknown, which means a constant reformatting of the way you process information and your experiences and who you share with. It's beautiful. It's just yeah, good luck to both of us in that journey.
yeah, I think your Neptune is in the 10th,
Yep,
right?
it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I peeked. I just don't have actually. ah, I'll take a picture and send it to you. It's great. All you have to do is just read the first paragraph of it, and it's all going to be clear. And I just want to add, okay, of course, a little bit of astrology. Neptune is the only planet that represents the spirituality, actually. Can you believe it? How I took it as the only planet that is pushing us beyond what we know. Every other planet is here to make us structured, to do the psychological wounding, to pull the ancestral trauma, to deal with our desires, our Mars, our actions, our contributions, our writings, our health, wellness. Neptune is the only one that pulls us away from all that life is bringing us in 3D. It's literally the only one that knocks on the door and say, "But there's so much more that you don't know. Come." And
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's delusional. That's why it can also be it's unreal. That's why they
Mm-hmm.
say, "Oh, but you're here. You're not in 5D, you're actually here." But it invites the evolution towards the spirituality. Without it, without that knocking on your door, you will not know that there is more than just what you know. The
Mm-hmm.
whole world of unknown will be totally unknown, left unknown. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
something just to disregard. But yeah, because, yeah, and because of that, it's often, you know, taken as the Lulu land
Mm-hmm.
that you don't want to deal with. I was like, why not? Go
Mm-hmm.
crazy, lose
Yeah.
your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And really, because it's not that easy to die, hence OSHO saying, meaning you can't just disappear unless you very much make it intentional and conscious. But try to touch that which you don't know, which is the creative, which you will never, ever know fully.
Ugh, I am disturbed.
That means that you're alive, very much alive.
There's more and more lately there's a like okay, Venus and Pisces, this like really fascination and borderline obsession with beauty and all things. And then
Mm.
there's on the other side of it too, like as I'm opening my structured self and I'm opening into learning how to love everything. There's like subtle undercurrent of just this craving. And I don't know if it's like Venus and Pisces specifically or this craving to like engage more deeply in everything. And I'm like,
Hmm.
can it just be enough? Why is there like always further that the mind wants
Yeah.
to go? Yeah.
So can I give you, it's just a simple story behind it. Because I had
Mm-hmm.
this on the podcast, I was actually reviewing Neptune and Venus together. Because one is
Mm-hmm.
unconditional love, love for all, Neptune, and one is very conditional. It's
Yeah.
actually Venus is meant to reject everything. And in the sense of love, what you love, it's a beauty, you're very much not welcoming anybody in your bed. Well, Venus will welcome everybody in bed because it has love for all. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
see it dissolves the form. But Venus is meant to reject and choose just some for that experience of So if this helps, maybe just two different forms, which one is rejecting your life saying, so you're not a prostitute, example, or promiscuous in the sense of asking, it can be dangerous. Both have the dangerous side of it, but one is meant to limit the form into the form. The other one is meant to dilute the form and expand you further into it, into your potential.
So Venus is limiting.
Yes. Venus will choose. Venus will choose who they want to go on coffee the day after. Yeah. Mars is going to get you and drive you to the coffee place with that person, but Venus decides who they want to have a second date with. And oftentimes it
Ah,
rejects.
so there's so Mars and Gemini is like everything everywhere all the time. The more experience, the better,
Intellectually.
intellectually speaking.
Yeah. Smart.
Yeah, so it's like the mind is like because
Gemini.
this is the feeling that I have is the recognition of beauty itself isn't enough. The mind wants to participate in conversation or like let's discuss something or like can I get to know you or it's always driving further. And then I'm like, well, in my heart, it is enough, but then it doesn't shut up. So yeah, it kind of
Yeah,
makes
because it's
sense.
seeking intellectual stimulants. It seeks to find something to fight for, to go in action for. You're not going to involve yourself in a conversation about that. That's me at work. It's going to suck you dry if you go and try to go against what your Mars genuinely desires, which is the communication is very arousing.
Yeah, it is.
Intellect is arousing. I have experienced falling in love with someone's mind so much, but the body's different thing. It's like,
Yeah. Hmm.
like I need this and then I need the aesthetics, right? It needs to
Hmm.
smell good, it needs to taste like strawberry and vanilla. I don't like that perfume. Oof,
Hmm.
please, no, not that hair color, very Venus.
Yeah.
Mars is gonna go and get that, what it needs. And Venus is be like, I always see her smoking a cigarette and saying, "Oh, bitch, no, you gotta work harder for it." Like between me and you, there's a bridge, and you, Venus, you gonna cross all the way and bring me water, Venus.
Oh, interesting. So what's this part of me that I smell a perfume and I'm just like it just sends me like just the perfume itself. I don't even have to like look at who has it. Or it just sends me, I'm like, oh, this is so amazing to be like eating a cookie or something, like eating something,
Mhm.
a juicy strawberry or kiwi. Like, I thought that
What's
was Venus Pisces, like the beauty of,
Yeah, appreciation of aesthetic expressions of beauty, something that turns you on. But what's gonna make you want to go to the mall and buy that perfume?
oh, I'm not going to.
Well, it's gonna be
Yeah.
Mars. It's not gonna be Venus. She's just gonna adore it.
Okay. Hmm.
That's what happened to me. The girl in the elevator here. Oh my God, I smell her perfume, no matter what floor I am in, and I know exactly. Literally, I was like, oh my God, I'm obsessed. I'm so
Yes.
obsessed that I went and was trying to find it. I was like, oh
Hmm.
my God, I'm gonna smell entire perfume store, entire thing. And I was talking for hours and I couldn't find it. I was like, ah, stupid, but just ask her. I was like,
Hmm.
no, my Mars made me go and do a lot of work, drive all over the city to find it. I didn't find it, but my Venus still enjoyed the smell. And ever since I asked her, the smell is no more there. So let me
Yes.
give you another
See?
thing.
Exactly.
But what you love is also the temptation to get to. So
Hmm.
if I am conquering the love, then I am stopping the desire towards it immediately. That's why tap, 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 tap. We can't. So allow yourself to love it
My
without
God.
ever
Well,
getting
that's where
it.
I'm at. It's just like It's yeah,
So good.
it's a mind scramble because I'm recognizing, and I think this pairs with, um, yeah, I know we gotta go soon, but I think this pairs with this change in my sexual practice now, where I'm retaining. I'm not like,
White tantra.
yeah, it's a little less serious, a little less serious. It's just more like, yeah, you know, do I need to? No, and then carry on. But along
Hmm.
with it,
Interesting.
I feel like really a lot more sensitive to the world, to everything. The more sensitive, and there's also this understanding of the sensitivity of what will happen is like I'm like, oh my God, that perfume or this tattoo. Like I was looking at this woman's tattoo and I'm like, the tattoo is so beautiful. It was like a mandala, sacred geometry. It was incredible. And I have this like Mars and Gemini temptation to be like, I want to get to know her. I want to just ask her about the tattoo. Where'd she get it from? Like, not even to capture her or do anything sexually, lustfully. Just, I just was like, I want to be stimulated mentally with the beauty that I'm experiencing through Venus. And then I'm understanding, I'm like, it's more beautiful
Mm.
when it just touches me. It's more beautiful when I'm at the dance and it's perfume. I don't know whose it is. It has a
Yes.
it has the quality of like, oh look how it found you. It's the mystery itself is alluring, and the allure is that's what's drawing me up. And yeah, so it's like I have these two parts that are it feels like at odds at some point, but
Mm.
and I've been for the most besides like our podcast and a few other friends, I've been kind of like just having Mars and Gemini over here and allowing more of the appreciation for beauty to just just be.
Mm.
But this part is getting it's kind of like agitated now.
It needs to go to war for something. You see, so Osho talks about suppressed sexual desire,
Yeah.
which is used for military purposes in politics because they're, a general. He touches the story when a general will have, exchanges with women, and then all the soldiers will not, because that
Mm-hmm.
suppressing energy comes in them, and it has to burst out. So they go into the war
Yeah.
almost like with so much energy that it's not wasted rather than pointed in the total destruction, which is also just a different point. So, I mean, I'm glad you're trying, you're testing to see can you use the energy in to find the way and the proper outlet for it, where you're going to use it rather than self-destruct, because the same energy can be self-destructive as well.
Mm-hmm.
Osho.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm keenly aware because I did before when I did this, it was white tantra and it was like you have to do this, you can't do that, you can do this, you can't do that. It was just like a lot of structure and repression. And I recognized looking back how rooted in repression it was. And this feels more freeing, but now there's like because it's sensitivity across the board.
Is it
This Mars
heightened?
and Gemini, the Mars energy is getting strong, like you said. So it's like, okay, we got to find release somewhere else. And with with it being in Gemini, it's like we'll go anywhere to the ends of the earth to and it will yeah. So I'm glad that you understand.
Yeah. I love that it's your self-exploration, and you wouldn't know when someone else tells you to do that. Nobody knows better you than yourself and your
Hmm.
body and what occurs. So when you start listening to the body and see when do you get aroused for life? What excites you? What part of you is alivening, turned
Hmm.
on, ignited, like what is it? You can pinpoint these things. Of course, it's easier when I'm in silence to pinpoint this, but there's a specific thing that arouses me. And I'm like, wow. And here you have lots of women talking about spontaneity in desire, and that moves to intentional arousal. How can you get aroused intentionally in life? And then that kind of dies down with the age. And I'm like,
Hmm.
well, that's not happening in my case. I don't know what you're talking about, but the beauty can be very arousing. The picture can be arousing. The other night I looked at the full moon in Leo. I
Hmm.
literally spent good hour to 2 hours at night staring at it because it was right above my window. And then I realized it's looking at me. It's just one eye that doesn't blink. And let me see if I can connect with that, which doesn't blink. It widely opens itself to me. And it's alluring me. So I started flirting with it. And I'm
Hmm.
like, wow, let me pitch darken the apartment. I was like, let me open my book. And I wrote in the dark, literally. And I just started writing and writing and writing. And I was like, something is occurring. I am taught, so, arousal or being touched by the beauty of simplicity. And it actually occurs in more simple moments, in the simple connections that you have ability now to connect to with your ability and capability to connect to such senses, to use the tools and entrances. You know how you remember when we
Yeah.
were to close, the energy stays inside, but it's seeking to come and go, to come and go. So this engagement, but what do you do with that? Can you pump it so much that it becomes a frustration? Is it then healthy for you, right? So it's like all of this is inside work, you
Yeah.
know. And just to add to that, the temptation is makes it last longer. So I want to be happy. We are seeking the end goal, the end result, but rather than it's that journey. And everybody says it's a journey, it's not the target, right? Or the result that you're getting. But can you experience that journey? Can you stay in the journey of looking and seeking happiness, seeking to fall in love again?
Hmm.
And only while I seek will I experience what it feels like not to have it. Because the moment I get it is the moment I lose it.
Hmm.
So poetic. This is all so poetic to me.
Yeah.
Playfulness in life, playing with with so much
Hmm.
that you already have available, and it's not tangible. And I don't have to come up with the story. I can tune into the experience of, oh, let's just spend an intimate night with the full moon. I mean, who does that, Eric? Who who does
You and I.
who intentionally goes out there and gets washed off by the moonlight?
Yeah.
You have a beautiful garden. Go sit on the entire garden and let the bugs crawl all over your body, giving you the butterflies while you're getting washed. But the moonlight, the planet that is lit to its fullest, and in reality is just dark.
Hmm.
I mean, it can go on and on and on. Wow.
Beautiful. Thank you.
So good. Thank you. 55th Sunday is. And it's
Final
our
one.
and it's our month, which means our energies are going to get enhanced a lot this month.
Yeah. It already feels, like you said, it feels like the freedom is coming alive and no longer being put last. Freedom says, put
Oh,
me first.
oh, the 55th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of timing, everything is just right on time. And the cluster of energies and planets that are transiting during our month of February, the month
Mm-hmm.
of love, coincidentally, right? Um, has not been there last year, last many years. It's this is
Mm-hmm.
dialed up, hyper, too much. Really, it's too much at once.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this is perfect time. And the sun is ours, meaning it's in our favor. Vitality for it is to its peak. That's why the solar return, and I don't know if you've done your solar return chart, is considered the blueprint for that entire year that you will carry with the energies. And often my birthday is not the 26th, it's actually the 25th when the sun comes back into the same degree that it was when I was born, and it falls on 25th. So I was like, okay, I'm going to celebrate my birthday on 25th, actually. How great.
Wait, what?
Never
I
told you
don't,
this.
yeah, I don't know a ton about solar return.
So sun comes back every year, and when it comes back into the same degree that it was when you were born, all the planets have different positions,
Oh,
literally. Every
mm-hmm.
degree is different. Some of them are in a different houses, right? So uh, the 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 minute that sun enters into your degree is the minute that will represent the energy for the entire year. So all your
Oh,
planets
okay,
are
okay.
going to give you the energy where you're going to focus on for the entire year. It's a really powerful tool to use.
Hmm.
Just to know where your focus, where your vitality is going to go towards, which house.
You know, slightly different, but it's interesting. I was reflecting on this. Mm, these outer planets going into Aries.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be like activating. It's gonna be good for me, you know. And then I was like, wait, it's still in my 12th house for a little
Yeah.
bit. Like shit, what does
You'll
that mean?
fight for it even more.
Yeah,
You'll fight for your higher tempo even more. That's how I see it. But I can't wait to see how this is experienced with you.
yeah. All right.
Your
Thank you.
spiritual
Much love.
warrior is going to show up.
Yeah.
Besitos.
Besitos.
Bye.